Hello, I'm Anita White. I'm a life coach with White Lighter Coaching Quest, and I'm also a member of the St. Croix River Valley Holistic Practitioners. Welcome to our show, For Your Health. The idea of the show is to introduce practitioners in the holistic field around the valley that have something to offer you for your health. And today I'm with Debi Drake. Welcome, Debi.
Thank you, Anita. I'm really happy to be here.
Great. So Debi, tell me a little bit about how you got into this and a little bit about your practice.
Okay. Well, I am a holistic health coach and I'm certified. I'm also certified in healing foods education. I went to the Raw Food Institute and to Integrative Institute of Nutrition, which is the largest nutrition school in the world. And it was really, really fascinating. I'm really passionate about this. I'm a cancer survivor, and I've had many people in my family that have passed away from cancer and heart disease. And I also have a real fascination for cooking. And so I've been doing a recipe column in the local paper. I'm from Hugo. And I've been doing it for about 8 years, and it's transformed into an educational piece about how food is thy medicine and different values that foods have to help you heal, and then I include a recipe.
Wonderful. Good. So today we're going to talk about sugar, and I see that you brought some things in with you, so go ahead and tell me about sugar.
Okay, well, sugar is one of the most included additives in processed food in the United States, and it's also very detrimental for your health. The average American consumes about 180 pounds of sugar a year, and that equals about a half a pound of sugar a day. So we have an epidemic going on in our country of people with obesity and diabetes and heart disease and, of course, cancer. And I believe that a lot of it has to do with sugars. So I really wanted to be able to actually show people some of the sugars that are in some of the average consumed products.
Okay, good.
So, one of the misconceptions that people have is, they're really going to get healthy if they drink orange juice. So this is one of people's favorite, orange juices. And right here, it shows you how much sugar is in this particular bottle of orange juice.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And one of the problems with it is that when they juice it, it loses a lot of the nutrients that orange has in it and turns to sugar. So it spikes your blood sugar up, and you really aren't getting what you could get as if you ate an orange. If you eat an orange, you will not only get the nutrients from the orange, but the fiber in the orange will slow down the rise of the blood sugar. So you actually are going to be fueling your body much better by just eating an orange than you would be by drinking orange juice.
So if I juiced that much orange juice, how many oranges would go into that jar?
That's a really good question, but I'm just going to guess that this is probably about 3 oranges.
Okay. So put that in perspective too. Do you want that many oranges all in one serving?
Yeah, that's really a lot. And another thing that really helps if you are going to, fructose is in fruit. And fructose, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup is actually really bad for you.
Okay.
But fructose can be good for you because it has a lot of vitamins and nutrients. But again, if you eat the actual fruit, it's going to be much more beneficial. And if you can combine it with protein or some whole grains to, again, add in some fiber. Another thing that people drink a lot is pop, and don't even really think about it. There's really nothing nutritionally valuable in pop, and there's 42 teaspoons.
That is just massive to me.
Yeah.
My gosh.
42 teaspoons of sugar in this pop. And recently there was an article about a woman in California that was drinking 2 liters of pop a day, and it contributed to her death.
Oh my.
There was also another article that was probably out just about 30 days ago linking 180,000 deaths to sugar.
Wow.
So it really, really is something that I would really encourage people to be aware of and to start to read labels. Because not only do you need to look at sugars that are on there, but you also need to look at carbs that are on there. So what you do is you add the carbs that are on there with the sugars, because it'll talk about grams, how many grams of carbs, how many grams of sugar. Divide that by 4, and that tells you how many teaspoons are in that.
Wow, that's a simple arithmetic.
Yeah. Another thing that it does is it contributes to weight gain. And a lot of people have another misconception of angel food cake because it's fat-free.
Right.
And fat-free is one of the biggest culprits in misconceptions that we've had, you know, for a long time. What happens when they're fat-free is there's a lot more sugars. So as you can see, this much sugar is in this. I mean, granted, it's in this whole cake, but people think, oh, if I have angel food cake, it's fat-free, and so therefore it should really be good for me. But it's really not.
It looks like that whole jar of sugar would fit in that box, so it's almost like it's almost mostly sugar.
Well, and again, you got to remember, Anita, that it includes the carbs.
Right.
So, you know, carbs are white flours.
Because that breaks down into sugar, right?
It does. It breaks down into sugars. So, yeah, it's just incredible when you start looking at some of these things that the amount of sugar that's in them. I wanted to point out, too, something about milk. You know, we were grown up, you know, with the white mustache and milk, and, you know, how good milk is for you. And so a lot of people think if they have skim milk, which takes away the fat, you know, it's fat-free skim milk, then that's going to really be good for you. But again, this is 1 cup, and this is how much sugar is in it. And there really isn't a whole lot of beneficial. People think, oh, I got to have my calcium from my milk. But in actuality, if you look at almond milk has 0 sugars and 1 gram of carb. And it has as much, if not more. And then there's other milks as well, like coconut milk, that's really beneficial for you. And then, you know, here's another thing that, this is something my mother used to do all the time, was do the slim fast diet.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then another thing, I don't have it with me, but there's Ensure has a ton of sugar, and a lot of people are given that because of the vitamins, but again, Slim Fast, this is how much sugar's in Slim Fast.
Oh yeah, and the sales piece on there, it says 10 grams of protein. That's attractive to me, and 5 grams of fiber. So I'm going, oh good, there's some real food in this Slim Fast. But then I look at the sugar and I go, I would never put that many teaspoons of sugar in my body at one time. So yeah, it isn't going to benefit me much.
And then another one is processed foods, and people think, oh, I've got to lose weight, I need fat-free, I need low-fat.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do a processed. Food here, and let me see where my. Oh, here it is. No, that's not it. Well, I guess I lost my.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, there's tons. Again, you mix the carbs
This is
with
lean
the
cuisine here.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I didn't see it. So this is the lean cuisine. Again, tons of sugar and tons of carbs and tons of preservatives too, which is a whole nother show on preservatives. Let's see. Oh, and another one is yogurt. Now, there are some benefits to yogurt because it has probiotics in it. But again, you've got high fructose corn syrup in a lot of them, and this much sugar in just this much yogurt. Wow. So you're better off, if you want to do the probiotics in the yogurt, to just go with a plain, you know, and add some fresh fruit.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, here's one just with salad dressings. You know, and I really think that this is a pretty good product, normally Newman's Own, but there's this much sugar between the carbs in salad dressings. Another thing to be aware of is the high fructose corn syrup. It's highly addictive. It really has no nutritional value to it. And it's in so many things that you just can't even imagine, like ketchup, for example, salad dressings, mayonnaise, many processed foods, many processed meats. So, so I'm really hoping that this show is going to bring some awareness for people to start taking a look at looking at labels. And then another one that is really dangerous is diet sugars. We haven't talked about that yet.
Right, so saccharin, aspartame, equal.
Sucralose, you know, a lot of things are being disguised as sucralose, and people don't recognize that as a diet sugar or an aspartame. But aspartame and diet sugars contain 50% is methane alcohol, which is actually poison. And so we're really poisoning our system. And studies have shown that you really don't even lose weight by doing diet sugars. You know, your body needs nutrition. Our bodies were really designed incredibly well to heal themselves. And just like a car needs good fuel and good oil, you know, and they have all the parts connected, well, it's the same thing with our bodies. All of our parts are connected, and we need to fuel our bodies. And when we're putting too much sugar in, you know, we can have things like headaches, really bad headaches. It leads to arthritis, and I think we talked about this, cancer and heart disease and diabetes. And so when you're fueling your system, you know, and ridding your body of toxins, you're going to have more energy, and you're going to feel a lot better, and you're going to just naturally lose weight. I had a client that just cut out one thing, because sometimes you just got to start small, just by starting one thing. And he really ate fairly well, but you know, he had a pretty big belly on him, and really, you know, wanted to work on getting that off. And he just cut out one thing, which was orange juice. When I explained to him, you know, how much sugar was in orange juice, he replaced that with eating an orange, and his belly just completely went down.
Wow.
And it was almost effortless, and he felt so much better.
Sure.
So when you're feeding your body a lot of vegetables, which have phytonutrients in them, you know, and they also have protein and calcium in them too. A lot of people think there isn't that. And, you know, and instead of having a processed meat, you know, I would encourage people to try to find a market. I know in Stillwater that you've got, you know, the co-op, which is wonderful. I go in there, and they've got, you know, good quality meats that don't have hormones, they don't have antibiotics, they don't have the sugars and the high fructose corn syrup mixed in with the processing. And so your body's going to be able to get so many more nutrients when you put, you know, whole foods, phytonutrients, vegetables, whole fruits, and water. Water is so beneficial. We really need to drink about half of our body weight in water. So, for example, if you weigh 100 pounds, you should be drinking 50 ounces of water. Or if you weigh 200 pounds, you should have 100 ounces of water.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because that is so, it flushes our system. It, you know, our system needs water. So instead of drinking these sugary drinks, you know, water is going to really feed your system, and we really need that.
Well, you know, I was drinking a lot of water, and I found this wonderful flavored water that actually it was charged. So it almost was like replacing soda, and that's what it did. It was replacing pop for me, because I've gone through a lot of metamorphoses with my diet, and that was one of the things that I wanted to eliminate, is pop's bad for you. And I didn't realize that until you were sitting in my office and you started talking about aspartame, what was really in it, right? And so I took a look at that, and I was drinking 3 or 4 of those a day. My son was drinking 3 or 4 of those a day. And yes, we were getting the required amount of water because we liked the flavor of the water. But we didn't realize, I mean, after I had that discussion with you and you told me to go see that video on YouTube, Sweet Misery.
Sweet Misery.
I did.
Did you?
I did. I went home and I watched it, and I went, oh my God. And I was like, I was on the last one. And then of course he's getting up in the morning going, where's some water? And I said, you have regular water now. And I told him some of the things that were the warnings, and one was that you can get strokes from this. You can get seizures from some of this. And
MS.
Right, and then I mean on top of it, if you've got any kind of emotional disorder, any kind of manic depression, it exasperates that. And I thought, so many people that I know, I'm in the recovery community, a lot of people are drinking diet pops. And that's a lot of what I see too, is they're on medication now because they're manic depression or they and it's like if that one little ingredient is exasperating that and I take that out of my diet, no, I'm missing it because it's a habit and I'm getting used to the regular water, but I thought, you know, I've gotten out of soda and so I still can drink the water, but I noticed that I'm not drinking as much again because it was a habit. So now I've just got to renew and change the habit again to something that's better.
And good for you.
Yeah, well, and I take advice. When I'm talking with another coach, I know I want people to listen to my expertise and to get that follow through. So this is kind of a good place for me to let you talk about the resource material that you want to introduce. One of them is about Sweet Misery, right?
Sweet Misery is a fabulous movie, and there, you know, it talks about, it's mostly all about diet sugar, and it does talk about all of the problems that are caused from diet sugars, and that it really does not help anyone lose weight. It actually does the opposite, and the encouraging thing is that there's a lot of doctors in there that are realizing this, and they're trying to get it, you know, so that something can be done about it. But, you know, it really makes me feel good that just one person at a time, if we can spread the word, now you'll help your son, and he'll tell his friends, and we'll tell people, you know, on the program, and if they tell people about the dangers of this, and you can share that. Sweet Misery is something you can Google, and, you know, I know I shared that with you, and you can watch it for free. I actually have the documentary. I have a whole library of documentaries that I share with my clients, and I think it's worth it to own that, because so many people, you know, and so many of our loved ones drink diet pop without even thinking. So many of the food that we eat and the stuff that we drink, we do it mindlessly.
Right.
And someone close, you know, to my circle of people ended up having a seizure, and it was very, very sad, but it directly was linked to switching from regular pop to diet pop.
Wow.
And you know, the really great thing, not that anything is great about having a seizure, was that when he went to his doctor, the first thing he asked him is, "Are you drinking diet pop?" And so more and more doctors are becoming aware of, you know, the problems that this poison is actually causing in our system.
Good.
And so, you know, if we can just continue to spread that awareness. But Sweet Misery is just a fabulous documentary on diet pop. And then I've got a couple of other books too that we'll put on the screen later that are good about sugars. That has a lot of information.
Actually, this is a good place to talk about those books. So besides Sweet Misery, what other? Why don't you just talk about the book? I'll put it up on the screen.
Okay. One of them is called Sugar Busters, and the other one is called Sugar Shock. And it basically just explains, you know, what sugar does to our system, and the dangers that it causes. And there's a lot of really, really informative information in there that and doctors that have contributed to it.
So is it kind of the science and the actually biology in the body?
Yes.
It talks about how your blood levels are affected and that kind of thing?
Yep. It explains the whole thing about how it affects your organs and how your organs work. And I'm not going to go into that whole thing because people aren't interested in it. I mean, the most important part is just to know that it is really, there is nothing in it that is going to benefit you. Then that there's so many other foods that you can make better choices with that will benefit you.
Okay. Well, we're getting close to wrapping up the show. So you said that there was some things that you really wanted people to know about that you were really passionate about. So why don't you go ahead and let me know what that is.
Oh, okay. Well, I you know, as a health coach, I do personal coaching and support and teach classes. We're going to be doing some women's retreats this summer and some detoxes because we just get exposed to toxins all the time, and we'll hopefully do a show on how important it is to do detox, and there's a variety of different detoxes, but I just really am passionate about sharing this information with anybody who's interested, and so I've also published a book, and it's really a small little short read, and it's called Happy Trails to Health, and I'm into horses, you can kind of see.
Is that your horse?
Yeah, that's my horse. Yep. And it just talks about little things you can do to make a difference, you know, in your own health. So it's just a quick read, and it's available. You can, you know, call my office, or hopefully it's going to be available soon on my website. We're working on that, but.
Well, the number's been on the screen, so hopefully people will be calling you for the book.
Well, great.
So.
Yeah, and feel free to call with any questions, or, you know, set up an appointment for personal coaching, or find out about the classes we have coming up.
Wonderful. So is there anything else that you want the audience to know about you today?
Just that I really want to spread the word about health.
Yeah.
I just feel better than I've ever felt in my entire life. And, you know, I'm older than I've ever been in my entire life. And it's really due to the fact that I really am conscious about what I eat. And I'm not perfect. I mean, but the really great thing is that the more educated you are, and the more of a desire you have to make a difference in your health, because it really is 90% of having a desire, and 5% is learning about it, and 5% is actually taking the action to do it. But you know, you fall off, you get back on because you are aware. And then also it's really important to have support. You know, we have some groups of people that we do things with, and have classes and try to plan some interesting things. Another thing that's really fun is we'll go shopping with you, and we'll help you read the labels, and we'll help you understand, you know, and recognize some of these things. And it's kind of fun to do it in a group. And even restaurants, we do, we'll help you try to make better, healthier choices at restaurants too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I always look at the menu and go, okay, there's one thing that I can eat. It might not be the thing I want to eat, but I know that there's at least one thing that I really want to eat. So I'll look and do the entree and skip always have like no rice or no potato and double the vegetables.
Yes.
You know, so I've learned to be able to ask for what I want, and if I can't get what I want, I don't have to eat everything that comes on the plate. I've really coached myself, okay, you don't have to eat that, you can eat the rest of it. Or when the bread basket comes before everything else, it's like, no, I'm going to feel so much better that I didn't turn that, you know, or I'll ask them just to take it away.
Oh, good
right
for
away,
you.
because I don't want it in my body. Because I just gain weight from it. I know that starchy foods gain weight, so I don't eat a lot of them.
You know what I think is really awesome is when you start to eat cleaner, and you start to really feel so much better, and then you make the bad choice of eating something, you know, and that expression, you are what you eat, and you really do feel kind of like what you just ate, like kind of yucky, and so then next time you go, you know, I really don't want to feel yucky this time, so I'm gonna, you know, make a healthier choice that'll make me feel so much better. Yeah.
Well, it's playing it out. How will I feel later after I've eaten this? Not how will I feel now, because the instant gratification of the food in your mouth only lasts a few seconds. But you know, when you have the sugar blues, that can last the rest of the day. Oh, absolutely. So it's not a balance for me. I've learned that lesson kind of the hard way.
There's another book out called Sugar Blues, actually.
Yeah,
that's really good too.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's it's really an important thing. You know, if you're going to make one change in your life, you know, I think one of the most important ones, that's why I wanted to talk about that today. One of the most important ones is to try to eliminate sugars.
Thank you. Thank you, Debbie. It's been nice having you on the show today.
Thank you so much.
I've learned a lot, and I always appreciate the visuals because most of us are visual. So I really appreciate you coming on the show, and I've learned a lot. Not just here, but as a coach. Coach to coach, it's kind of fun because you really have, changed some things for the way I think about my nutrition.
Oh, thanks so much, Anita. That really is a compliment coming from a coach, too.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm Anita White. I'm a life coach with White Lighter Coaching Quest, and I'm a member of the St. Croix River Valley Holistic Practitioners, and this is our show For Your Health. You can find us on YouTube, or you can find us on our website, and that'll be at the end of this show here. You'll be able to read the website. And I want you to just think of alternative and complementary ways that you can take care of your health. Thank you.